Hey there. All right, so today we're going to look at what is an inverse function. And an inverse function is a function that undoes another function. That's a nice way to think about it. So let's do some examples really quick so you can see what that really means. All right, so here we have two functions. Here's one function, call it f, and here's another function. F with this little -1 as an exponent, we say f inverse. Or we say f inverse of x is this function. So what is an inverse function? It's a function that undoes another function. So that means if we take some value here, get an output, and put that output in here as the input, we should get back to the same thing. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we do f of 1 equals 0.49 over 0.5 times 1. That's going to give us, well, 0.49 over 0.5. Great. So we have f of 1 is this amount. So now an inverse function will take this output as the input, and we should get 1. All right, so here you go. F inverse of 0.49 over 0.5. Substitute that value in for x. We get, a fraction times a fraction, so the numerator here will cancel out with that new denominator. The numerator cancels with denominator, so we get an output of 1. And sure enough, this function, we put in 1, we get this output. We put that output in here, and the inverse function, and it takes us back to what we started with. That is one way we can think about an inverse function. Now, generally speaking, if we have some function f and we put that function, the inverse of it, into the function, we should be left with x. So let's see if we can make that happen here. Okay, so here we go. We took the inverse function, f inverse, and substituted that whole function in for the input here. See, 0.49 over 0.5. This was x, but we substituted this function in for the value here, for the unknown there. And then we get this nice canceling of things, and sure enough, the 0.49 cancels with this 0.49, 0.5, 0.5, so we get x. So there you go. Yay, so that works. So this is a way, so an inverse function takes a function back to itself, or takes a function back to x, or it undoes the other function. So that's one way we could think about an inverse function. So let's do some examples about about finding specific inverse functions.